Okay, Aviscerus, welcome to Nightbreed. How are you guys?
Yeah, good.
Thanks, man.
Pretty good, man.
Yeah, good to hear. All right. So I guess we'll start at the beginning. What happened back in 2014 to get Aviscerus started?
Yes, that's yours, Chris.
I suppose it was started. I was working with a bloke who also played guitar. And I was about 20 years of age, so I was just like getting into the trade. And I fiddled around just a little bit when I was a teenager and didn't really get into anything serious. But this guy actually did it pretty seriously. He was like, "Oh, you want to like see if we can whip up some riffs?" And we got together and whipped out some riffs. And then Herb, the drummer, remember hearing some like drums when I was walking to school as a kid, or like pretty much as a kid. I was in primary school, so I remember hearing drums being played or whatever. I had no idea who was playing it. Me and her went to the same high school, but we didn't know each other. We didn't hang out. And me and this other bloke that I was working with, Matt, he, I was like, I remember this guy was playing drums in my house. I should see who it was. And lo and behold, it went down an avenue, met some people, and there was a drummer. And we just got together, like pretty much on the weekly from there, playing together till I don't know, all hours of the morning. You know how it is when you first get together and start tasting the riffs. It was all kind of new to us because it was all of our first band. So it brings us to like later on in the piece, I suppose, when Jesse joined the band in 2018. Is it, mate?
2017. Tail end of 2017. Yeah.
A
while ago now.
Yeah. It was about the same time we became a four-piece, hey?
Yeah, that was when Matt stepped out of the band, and I think sometime after that, 2019, former vocalist Sam started to step out as well. And shortly after that, we met Cody and brought him into the fold, and lineup's been going pretty strong ever since then, I'd say.
Yeah, cool. So Cody, when you joined, like, did the songwriting change? Like, because you did vocals, right? Did you get some lyrics in, or were the lyrics sort of already there?
Yeah, so we rewrote the lyrics for the entire album. None of the original lyrics stayed except for parts of Guidance, but that's because Herb wrote most of that and he didn't leave the band. Most of those lyrics stayed.
Cool. Oh, nice, man. That's great. So going backwards a little bit, 2015, you guys, you recorded the Dark Skies EP. What do you remember about recording that one?
Oh man, I was the only one. Me and Herb were present for that one, as far as who's in the band now. But we
That's a little before my time.
Yeah, it was a bit before Jesse's time. But funny is, Jesse was actually there from the get-go. He was there from the very beginning, because first show Aviscerus ever played, Dark Skies, Jesse was at the show. We had no idea he was there. They were in the crowd or whatever. And
I even remember that evening, man. Knocked off work and was just lounging around, not doing much. Opened my phone. I see there's this show, going on in Perth. I'm like, screw it. I got nothing else to do. I'll head down, check out some riffs, and serendipitous that then 2 years after that, having become such a fan of Aviscerus and Aviscerus's music, to get to join the project as well.
Yeah, always coming to the shows and stuff. But yeah, the Dark Skies was different beast, different band. We're all in different headspaces. We're all
different style of music, even
and
different style of metal, even really, compared to kind of the way things have kind of changed.
We were all listening to shit tons of Lamb of God, and it was shit tons of Lamb of God, pretty much. We were just trying to do our best sort of go at that, and having a good time. As far as recording goes, we had fun in we were like, we'll go into a recording studio, have fun and check it out, see what it's all about. And we did that whole experience, and it was good, but like the EP itself, I think it was a bit of a rush job, really. It was just kind of we got some songs together and we were excited to get them out, so we just kind of whipped them up, got them out. Didn't really spend much time on the mixing or the mastering or anything like that. It was just kind of all over the shop, but it's you know, we just want to play shows. That's what it was all about. So, you know, that's what Aviscerus was about, and kind of like, you know, we still have always kind of maintained sort of a live presence. Unfortunately, it's been a bit harder to sort of maintain a online sort of digital presence and stuff. Getting music out, that is. So, yeah, that brings us to 2021, and we got a new album.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to ask. So, how'd the recording of this one go compared to back to that first EP? Must have been pretty different, yeah.
It's completely different experience.
Definitely taking our time a fair bit more. To this one, I'd say.
We started recording this like early last year or something. Like last year sometime, and because we were recording demos to like actually understand how the song was going to go for like 2019. So this album's been in the works for years.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it kind of added, I guess, that, you know, we originally had a lot of lead guitar on some of these riffs, and then obviously with Matt deciding to leave the band, it was sort of like we kind of had to go back and do some rewrites. And then again, when, as Cody said, you know, earlier, rewriting the lyrics, there were a few stages where we kind of had to go back to the drawing board in a sense and kind of, you know, redo some stuff. But you know, I'd say that, you know, it's been a process that's like been worth it. It's been good not to like feel like we're rushing anything, which is you know, that's been good to kind of be able to fully see out the kind of the vision, the concept of the record and everything, to be able to visualize that a bit more, as opposed to, you know, as Chris said before with Dark Skies, just sort of like, we need to play shows, we need to get some riffs down, boys. It's sort of good to, you know, take the time a bit more and let the beats evolve a bit more.
Where's the mixing process out? Like, I've seen that it's released later this year. Are you guys still tweaking things, or is it ready?
Not ready.
So it's actually currently being mixed as we speak. So but yeah, there's still tweaks. We're still tweaking. But not really. But like, it's there, it's not, but it's there. It is there.
Okay. Yeah.
So it's hard. It's really kind of hard to sort of like, because it's just been one of those processes where we haven't been trying to put pressure on any type of aspect of it. You know, it's sort of trying to approach it as naturally as possible. You know, and if it's feeling like it's like, you know, if you're not feeling it, then well, it's just not going to happen. And like, you know, we all got a lot of shit going on outside of Aviscerus. You know, so that takes a lot of time. Unfortunately, we can't spend all of our time focusing on putting this record out. If we could, I'm sure it would have been done a lot sooner. But yeah, I feel like in the given the circumstances, you know, the wait should be worth it. I feel because yeah, it's been thought about. We've had time on this one. Yeah,
sure. You mentioned earlier that, you know, lots of Lamb of God going on in your headphones, but what kind of stuff are you guys listening to now?
Cody, you started one. You go. We all listen to kind of different sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
We all listen to different kind of stuff. I quite like a lot of really weird stuff and a lot of like extremely heavy stuff. So I listen to a lot of like mathcore and grindcore and like slam and like brutal death metal and all sorts of stuff like that. I like anything that's really outlandish. And then also I really dig like old school deathcore and stuff like that. I kind of grew up on old school deathcore and metalcore and stuff like that. So
it's funny because Cody, being the youngest in the band, I still feel like he has he listens to the oldest music. He definitely spends the most time listening to like the older stuff than what me or Jesse do.
Yeah, I love Slayer and like old school like Morbid Angel and stuff, but like These two, I don't think vibe with it as much.
Okay.
Yeah, we have though. It's just I suppose me and Jesse are just absolute riff junkies. So we're just constantly always hunting down the like just new riffs and the next riffs and like just people that are trying to like I don't know break barriers or just trying to bring in some fresh flavors to the table. I don't know. Our palette's quite broad. I think Jesse, we're both kind of like the same kind of stuff as far as heavy music, like metal goes. But he likes his synthwave, and I like my EDM and my IDM, shit like that. So you know, there's variance there. Quite a bit.
I listen to a bit of still listen to a fair bit of like 90s alternative stuff as well. Always kind of had a soft spot for bands like Faith No More and Primus. Stuff like that, even stuff like They Might Be Giants, really kind of eclectic left field shit like Blind Melon, stuff like that. Like I guess, like they said, you know, it's I pretty much went through the entire annals of metal when I was a kid and pretty much listened to a bit of every genre and tried to acquaint myself with everything. And I'm at the point where, you know, for example, something like Slayer is not as appealing to me anymore. Some like Morbid Angel, you know, I can still go back to that old school late 80s, early 90s death metal and still really get a nostalgia kick out of some of those albums. But going after a lot more progressive stuff, I guess, these days. If I had to pick, I'd say probably my favorite band of the last, you know, in the last decade's Gojira. Something that's, you know, bringing different elements into the heavies is something that's really appealing to me and Chris. Trying to mix in different formulas and interesting little cadences from different genres that you wouldn't really expect to hear in metal.
Okay.
Right, just like when the drums are fast.
Yeah. Oh, there's definitely room for that too. There's room for blast beats and sick brutal riffs, man. But it's interesting to mix it up too.
Yeah, cool.
I love a composition that's had I don't know. I like really hectic, dense shit. Really dense shit, like really sort of like takes like ages to sort of figure out, and then once you get it figured out, it just gets better and better.
Once it's a puzzle, man, when you can discover an album that feels like a jigsaw puzzle that you don't understand yet, that's really satisfying shit. When you can dig deeper into the minutiae of the record, find shit like on your fifth listen that you hadn't keyed into before. That shit's really cool.
Can you think of any examples of albums like that have kind of clicked after a few listens?
Yeah, for sure. Vervum's Illuminates, big one for me. That was I think a 2016 album. Vervum are a pretty sensational, progressive, technical death metal band from Canada, I believe, and they've worked in. There are sections of that album that feel almost like a John Williams score, you know, something from Star Wars or Indiana Jones or something. They're just these really huge and emotional symphonic pieces that they work into tech death in really interesting ways. They're also not afraid to slow down a lot of really interesting chord progressions and just in general, just like so many subversions of what you would expect a tech death record to be, which would just be whittlies and like nonsense and 240 BPM the entire time. I think that's definitely a good example.
As far as the tech death goes, you know, you got your Vervum. And you got your fucking Inferi, you know, you've got
Inferi, definitely.
Delicious selection of technical death metal out there right now. You know, Surreption is always a go-to. Can't get enough. You go, you know, want something a little bit more like less heavy, but also still sort of like compositionally dense. You know, Between the Buried and Me is always a go-to for me. But this year, because I always try to listen to records from the year that I'm in. You know, like when I'm, you know, you always go back to records that you always go back to. They're always going to be there to go to. But like this year, for example, I've been getting into Alluvial's new record. That thing's been slapping pretty hard. It's got a lot of different flavors on it.
That thing's sensational, man. That's a great record.
I've been loving everything Vovidinian's been putting out lately as well. But yeah, there's so much good shit right now, and for the last, you know, it just keeps getting better. I feel
there's a long list of names, man. So much great shit happening right now.
Yeah, sure. Cool. Oh, let's go back to your stuff. The Visceral Depths album. had a look at the cover. It looks sick, man. It's that cool kind of painted looking image. How'd you get together with Adam Burke, the artist?
Yeah, so I actually came across him, years ago, and I've always loved his work. And when we sort of got the theme and the idea, the premise for this album together, we had a really kind of like good visual representation in our minds of what we wanted. We were like, okay, this guy's artwork is very much in the vein that we think could represent what we're trying to go for here. So basically, we sent him. I just flicked him an email because he's over in. I'm actually not sure where.
It's Canada or America?
Yeah,
or something?
He's somewhere in Canada.
Yeah. Is Canada? Yeah, I think so.
Pretty sure it's
yeah.
If he's Canadian and I just called him American, that's pretty. Ooh.
Yeah.
Or vice versa. Apologies, Adam, if you're watching this. Yeah, no. So just we sent him the idea, and sent him the demo of the record, sent him the lyrics for all the songs, and basically he pretty much just tried to grab all the lyrics and all the kind of like the vibes going on throughout the songs, and tried to have that. Yeah, you sent us some drafts or whatever, and we were like, "Yeah, sweet, that's along the right lines," and the communication. I
feel
was
like
pretty good.
he tried to key into the concept of the record. It's kind of got a bit of a loose concept to it. Something that Cody and I kind of jammed up as we were writing the songs. It started to become more clear that there was some kind of like common thread kind of lyrically going through the songs, at least on a thematic level. The protagonists and the situations change, but the theme is really similar throughout. I feel like when I started to see this artwork kind of come into being, it was sort of like, wow, he's really keyed into the concept that we've got going, which just a great piece of art is something that can reinforce the underlying message of the album, and the underlying message of the album is pushing forward the art. It's really cool.
Yeah, nice. So coming up 30th of July, people are going to be able to stream the first single, I'm assuming, off the album. Yeah, It Lurks.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah, cool. So what? I don't know. Sell it to us. Like, what can people expect, especially comparing to that first EP, which is all we've had recorded so far?
Yeah. I mean, Jesse, you probably take this one. You know both albums quite well. Probably more than me. I don't listen to the Dark Skies.
Well, damn. Well, I haven't listened to it in a while either. But okay, to sum it up, it's definitely less Lamb of God. There's more than just Lamb of God riffs going on. I think that it's definitely heavier. It's definitely a lot heavier than Dark Skies. I feel like it's a bit more subversive as well in terms of like composition and structure of the songs. There's a lot of really interesting dynamics in terms of vocals. There's some really cool, pretty brutal sections sprinkled through there. I'd say overall it's heavier and it's more subversive than Dark Skies.
Cool. Oh, nice. And then August 21st, you guys got the Ants single launch. Fingers crossed, everything's good, and we can go to that.
Yeah, touch wood.
Yeah. I hope so. Jesus.
Damn.
So
that's
sorry.
Gonna be sick.
Yeah.
That's gonna be sick. We got Ashen and Infinite Exile and Spud King on that one. Spud King, actually, the vocalist for Spud King, is actually the original bass player for Aviscerus. So it's really cool to sort of see that sort of come around, and now he's part of his own band now and stuff. So that's really cool. And he's opening the night for his old band and shit. So it's pretty bloody awesome. A bunch of good lads on for that night, so we're really keen to put on a good show.
Sure. So first show we played in
this year,
half a year now. First show of the year.
I'm so keen. I'm so excited.
Last show we played was December. Last show we played was last December.
December 4, right? December 4, was that the one at Lucy's? Yeah,
that was the show at Lucy's. And I'm just really keen to start slinging some Aviscerus at people again. It's gonna be sick.
Yeah, so people will be able to hear a bunch of new tracks, the stuff off this upcoming album.
Yeah, pretty much. So it's gonna be So obviously we're not gonna play all the new songs because then we kind of ruin it for when the album does get launched. But we will be playing about tracks off the record.
Six of them. 6 songs.
For sure. Yeah.
Excellent, man.
Good.
Cool. Oh, good. All right. Well, look, Aviscerus, thanks heaps for your time, and yeah, looking forward to hearing the rest of this album. Yeah, it should be great. Yeah.
Cheers, heaps, man.
Me
Had a
too.
good time.
Thanks
Hell
a
yeah.
lot, man.
Yeah, thanks for having us, bro.
All right. See you guys.
Take it easy, man.
Until that may